Namaskaram everyone. Welcome to the guided meditation session of Vivekananda Samiti under guidance of Swami Atmashraddhananda Maharaj. Initially, we have chanting followed by reading from complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Currently, we are reading Inspire Talks and we'll have guided meditation session, and in the end, we'll have question answer session. Maharaj, you can start.
Namaste Ankush and namaste all friends who are watching. Hopefully we will be having our offline classes in days to come, maybe next month. But this session is equally very effective because people who may not be comfortable with coming to the IIT class physically, at least will remain connected with us digitally. So we shall begin today's class. We shall, as usual, begin with our chanting the Vedic mantras and also please listen to them with great concentration, because as a step towards inner concentration, listening to Vedic mantras or Sanskrit mantras, it could be any prayer, in fact, any prayer in your own mother tongue. It is Hindi, Kannada, Bengali, Punjabi, any language will not matter. What matters is that you feel the presence of a divine power and express yourself. So that's one side of the prayer. And the other side of the prayer is the Sanskrit mantras have got their power. If you listen to them very respectfully and with great sense of focus, there is some unexplainable power in these Shanti mantras, because they are coming from very pure heart. The prayers were uttered by the rishis who had tremendously pure heart and who were great lovers of truth. So they never compromised because they had no selfish motive. They had no fear either. No fear, no selfish motive, no greed, only goodness. In fact, greatness, great tyaga in them. So that's why when we listen to these mantras, that power it can be felt. So I request everyone, please close your eyes. So I'll chant a couple of mantras. Please listen to them. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhihi व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो वरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओ तेजो असि तेजोमयि धेहि बलमसि बलं मयि धेहि ओजो असि ओजो मयि धेहि वीर्यमसि वीर्यं मयि धेहि सहोऽसि सहो मयि धेहि मन्युरसि मन्युं मयि धेहि ॐ नमः श्री अतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूत्रये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे Now we shall read for about a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, from the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, from a text called Inspired Talks. Swami Vivekananda says, citing Patanjali's yoga aphorisms or yoga sutras, yet yoga is the science of restraining the chitta or mind from breaking into vrittis or modifications. Mind is a mixture of sensation and feelings, or action and reaction. So it cannot be permanent. The mind has a fine body, and through this it works on the gross body. Vedanta says that behind the mind is the real self. It accepts the other two, but posits a third, the eternal, the ultimate, the last analysis, the unit, where there is no further compound. Birth is the recomposition, death is decomposition. And the final analysis is where Atman is found. There being no further division possible, the perdurable is reached. The whole ocean is present at the back of each wave, and all manifestations are waves, though some very big, some small. Yet all are ocean in their essence, the whole ocean. But as waves, each is a part. When the waves are still, then all is one, a spectator without a spectacle, says Patanjali. When the mind is active, Atman is mixed up with it. The repetition of old forms is quick succession in his memory. Be detached. Knowledge is power, and getting one, you get the other. By knowledge, you can even banish the material world. When you can mentally get rid of one quality after another from any object until all are gone, you can at will make the object itself disappear from your consciousness. Those who are ready advance very quickly and can become yogis in 6 months. The less developed may take several years, And anyone by faithful work and by giving up everything else and devoting himself solely to practice can reach the goal in 12 years. Bhakti will bring you there without any of these mental gymnastics, but it's a slower way. Ishvara is the Atman as seen as or grasped by mind. His highest name is Om. So repeat it, meditate on it, and think of all its wonderful nature and attributes. Repeating the Om continually is the only true worship. It is not a word, it is God Himself. A religion gives you nothing new. It only takes off obstacles and lets you see yourself. Sickness is the first great obstacle. A healthy body is the best instrument. Melancholy is an almost insuperable barrier. If you have once known Brahman, never after can you be melancholy. Doubt, want of perseverance, mistaken ideas are other obstacles. So this is the end of our reading. I shall briefly contemplate or reflect upon what Swamiji has said. Swamiji is speaking about the mind in this passage, and he is referring to yoga. Popularly, yogasanas and pranayam come to our mind when we think of yoga, which is the first step towards actual practice of yoga. The first step because they make the body ready. This pranayam and properly done under proper guidance. They help you to like preparing the instrument. But to get stopped at only at pranayama and asana is actually not following the yoga completely. It's only very physical part of the yoga. So there is a mental aspect of the yoga, which is, Swamiji says, it is restraining the mind, checking the mind. Just as you have got some pet, you restrain it. It should not run away. Same way we restrain our mind. From what? From even thinking. Now, what does that mean? That mind has to think. Thing is, we keep thinking of something we don't want to think also. Suppose you have seen one horror movie and you've gone to bed. How difficult it is. All those horror scenes, all the fear reactions, all the death feeling, all that cruelty will be visible in that. It'll coming back, which means our mind has taken the shape of those images, ideas, and those things which we have just watched. Sometimes we have not just watched, but olden things. It's not just horror. It could be anything. Suppose somebody has hurt you, he has spoken something. Somebody has called you, let's say, a donkey. Oh, how dare he could speak like that to me? How could he insult me? How could he berate me or demean me? That idea will come to you. So our mind, we are not able to control. Swamiji, in another place, he says, we say we are all free. We speak of actually social freedom. In society, I can do many things. I've got political freedom, economic freedom. Freedom is very important in life. These freedoms are also very important. But there is another freedom, which is the freedom of the mind. Most people, when they think freedom of the mind, what they mean is that I can do anything and can think anything. That's not freedom. That's a slavery. It's a slavery because you have, in a way, come down and just following your own impulses and instincts. The real freedom is when the mind is pure. And that pure mind can be focused on the ultimate reality called God or Ishvara or Atman. So that is the ultimate thing. So Swamiji says mind presently is a mixture of action and reaction. So it cannot be permanent. The mind itself is not permanent. The mind has a fine body, and through that it works on the cross body. This is known as the psychosomatics. Psycho is the mind, and the body is the somatic. So psychosomatic diseases. Nearly many diseases have got psychosomatic side. Because suppose you are always worried or you're always tense, it will affect your stomach or it may create back pain or some other thing. So which means body and mind are related. In Vedanta, we say there is a third reality other than body and mind. And what is that reality? Wonderful Swamiji's explanation. He says, Vedanta accepts body and mind, but posits the third, that is the eternal, the ultimate, the last analysis, where there is no further compound. Beyond that, nothing is there. Body and mind have got certain changes happening in them, but there is no change. Then Swamiji mentions a famous statement: birth is a recomposition, death is a decomposition. Birth is a recomposition of the five elements, and death is a decomposition. So recomposition and decomposition are constantly happening, which means we are taking birth and dying, taking birth and dying. But the final analysis is where there is no such thing, and that is Atman, there being no further division possible, no change possible. Then he says the whole ocean is at the back of each wave, and each wave, some big, some small, but behind that is the same ocean. So you could be a intellectually or otherwise a very big person. I may be a very small person. So in society, you may get a better place, you get more, you are more successful, I may be less successful. But that should not mean that I am nobody. And you also should not think that you are everybody, that you are both are possessing body and mind. Body and mind will one day degenerate. So what remains then? Final analysis, the Atman remains. After that, after the final analysis, nothing remains. There's a saying in English, it says, after the game of chess is over, the king and the soldier will both go to the same box. So we all will go to the same box. But now we are different. But in this state of difference also, let us not forget our divine nature, which is same, like ocean behind big and small waves. And then once all the waves are stilled in the mind, what remains is the Sakshi, the spectator, without a spectacle. Nothing is there, only I am there. Tada drushtuhu swarupe avasthanam. When all the waves in the mind are stilled, so we should not forcefully try to still our mind. We can definitely come away from very traumatic experiences or those which are very attached to, which are troubling us, frustrating experiences or ideas. We can come out of that. And then observe yourself. Observe yourself. What we are doing at present, we are having a repetition of old forms in quick succession, and that's called memory. So be unattached. Swamiji says, you can meditate, and then finally, what remains is your consciousness. So let us keep our posture straight, closed eyes. Let our mind calm down. Let our mind not be distracted by any thought or any sensation. No sound should distract us other than what we are listening. That alone we should focus on. Any mechanical sound, the sound of a fan, or any passing person or a bird, let us not be distracted by that. Nor feel any negative feeling about heat. Oh, it's very hot now. Why it is hot? Let us not think of that. Nor should we be worried about what's happening in our life. Why our life is like that, good or bad, whatever. Let us be detached to our own lives. Let us not try to evaluate our lives now. We can do that separately, but right now, no evaluation. We are just sitting in a detached manner. We have with us our mind, we and our mind, which means I and my mind. So I is the substratum, the Atman, expressing through ego and looking at its own self like an object. Let us first of all, as taught to us by the great sages, let us pray for the well-being of all. Because behind everyone there's the same divinity. So may all beings be at peace. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Pray for the well-being of all living beings. May all whom we know or whom we do not know, all our friends, relatives, our colleagues, misery, pain, may there be peace, love. May all enjoy good health. May all follow the path of dharma. May we help each other. May we be unselfishly praying for the good of others. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Respectfully remembering the great sages who have taught us meditation, who have given us this great knowledge, we gratefully bow down to them, and to all the great all the forms in which the ultimate reality manifests. With different names, people call that name reality. We bow down to him or her. Bring your mind to the present moment. Bring your mind to the point of your own body. That this is our human body. We are so fortunate to be born as humans. So be aware of various limbs of the body. A kind of a body scan we shall do. Our own mind scanning the body. This generates a sense of self-awareness, which is very primary to meditation. So be aware of your both the legs, both the feet, the toes of the feet, the soles of the feet, the ankle, the calf muscles, the knee joints, thighs, the hip joints, both hands, the fingers, palms, lower arm, elbows, upper arm, shoulder joints, the neck, the head, eyes, cheeks, chin, ears, a calm face, a meditative posture. Think of yourself in this way. Feel you're healthy, you're strong, you're competent of calming the mind, meditating. Right now, that competence may be not fully manifest, but through practice, we shall be able to manifest that. Be positive about yourself. Now, let us be aware of your vital sheath, which means prana shakti. within the body. Think of the vitality, the prana which comes from Atman, from the divinity, the Chaitanyam. This mysterious force called prana, the life force. That, think how you are breathing in and breathing out. Focus on your breathing. Feel that you are breathing in holy vibrations. It is enriching you, nourishing you. Look at our own mind. We have looked at our body. We have tried to feel our prana shakti. Now let us feel our mind. Mind is more pervasive. It can run in any direction in the smallest unit of time. Let us try to look at the mind in a detached way, just as we looked at our body in a detached way, looked at our mind in a detached way. There are thoughts in that, there are reactions, memories, plans. There are worries, which are also thoughts. Then there are regrets. There are also thoughts. Thoughts and feelings mixed together. We call it our mind. Just observe your mind. Don't try to analyze it. In a detached way, without feeling good or bad about your mind. Try to find a sacred spot within your own self, which means try to visualize through imagination, a healthy, pure imagination, a sacred spot in the center of your chest. That's the spot representing your divine being, your pure heart, the divine heart. And think of the object you want to meditate on. Some divine object, which means the form of a god or goddess, the face of, let's say, a calm face, the divine face of god or goddess, whichever you worship. Or if you are not used to it, think of a flame, a gentle flame of a candle, unflickering in the center of the chest. We should together chant Om once and try to focus the mind on that. I shall chant, you please chant at your end. Oh. Any instruction for next few minutes. Try to focus the mind. Don't allow any scatteredness. Now let us conclude. We shall conclude our efforts in meditation by chanting the Shanti mantra. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Now please open the eyes. This ends our session in meditation. If you have any questions, we shall briefly discuss them.
Thanks, Maharaj.